Oh, this is darker music than I was expecting, you guys. Let's try something different. Let's just go back to our we know what works. Which means an ad. What a horrible way to start off this live stream today. There we go. Ah, there we go. Good morning, artists. Happy Friday. Sorry for the kind of awkward start. We just got finished with a staff meeting. Me and the rest of the staff got together online so we could chat about, getting ready for the end of the year and all that, and pretty much finished that and zoom right back to here. So I had to rush through some things, and you know how it is. I hope you guys are having a good week. It's going to be nice out finally. It's going to be really hot today, so stay hydrated. Drink your water if you're going out and doing any activities. Today is due date for your latest project, the Symmetry project. If you are not able to get it in by today, you guys have until next Tuesday to get all your work in. So that's not only just the assignment from this week, that's all assignments. So please make sure that you are trying to get everything done so that you can have everything turned in so that I can give you all good grades. That's pretty much what we're focused on right now, okay? So do your best. Please reach out if you're having some trouble. I'm still going to stream on Monday and Tuesday, so if you need any last minute, immediate help, that's the best time to come online and chat with me and get some extra help on that. Okay? So we're just going to be doing a little more drawing today and just kind of keep going from there. So let me spin you around again. Here we go. And I'm going to have to immediately start off with an apology because when our staff meeting started, I looked around and I grabbed the first thing I had on hand because some of you already know this. I talked about this before. I am not the kind of person who can sit still. I cannot just sit in one spot and listen to people talk for a whole long period of time without me getting bored. I need to have something to focus on. Doing art and that kind of thing really, really helps me to just keep my mind focused. I have to have my hands busy to keep my mind working. Sitting and just listening does not work for me. So I started coloring her. I'm sorry, I did a little bit of her skin tone before, and then I just started going with the rest of it, and it just kept happening from there. And I apologize if you've been following along with it, but I'm sorry. I was sitting in a meeting listening, and my hand just went on its own, and the next thing you know, I'm like partway through the outfit, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? I will have to apologize to everybody because I started coloring without them. But then at least maybe if we get it done early enough, then we'll have time to start on a new character, which new characters are always fun. Decided I wanted to include a little more green in this one. It's a color that has not shown up too much with the others. Plenty of blue, plenty of kind of yellowish colors. Moon Girl was pretty much all purple. So I said I really haven't used a whole lot of green yet. And it's not so much that her color is green, but here's where the green can fit in. Planet Saturn, named after the Roman god Saturn, named after, or coming from the Greek god Cronus, who was the god of the harvest. And you harvest plants. Ta-da! Green. It makes sense. I'm going to use a little bit of black under here. The black Prisma just goes dark so fast. You have to use the lightest touch on it. So yeah, the teachers got together and we chatted about thinking about plans for next year. Everything is still so crazy. No one's really sure what it's going to look like. The governor is working with some experts and some teachers and other education professionals to try and come up with what we as a state need to have. And once the state says, here's what we'd like to see from the schools, then the schools can start planning. So by the time we're officially done with classes, we probably will not have heard too much. So stay tuned over the summer. Keep an eye on all of your Crestwood emails and make sure you're picking up the phone when Crestwood sends out their messages. You want to make sure you get all the right info. And as I said, I'll still be streaming on Monday and Tuesday. After that, we'll have to see. I don't think I want to be gone the entire summer. I've kind of enjoyed doing the streaming. It might look a little different because these streams I tend to talk to you, my students. But if I'm doing stuff over the summer, then it's just me and the audience. Maybe we'll pick a couple of days to do it. Maybe we won't just set a schedule. Maybe we'll just, whenever we're sitting down to do some art and we feel like it, we'll be like, hey, let's throw on a stream for a little while. This is a nice green. This is almost it's not quite a blue green. That's a soft green. It's called true green. At least that's what this pencil calls it. It's very bright. We're going to have some fun with all the different little rings and stuff that are on here too. Don't you worry. So I was using that green. I was using a little bit of this, it's called apple green, which has a little bit of a yellowish tone to it, which I think kind of helps a little. It adds kind of a bit of a golden look to things, which will make it match a little bit better with the gold in her outfit. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of this Deco Yellow, which is pretty much just yellow that is a little bit white. And that just helps to soften the colors. It adds a little bit of a yellow shine to it. There we go. Just kind of brush her off a little bit. Okay, so with this, let me grab my little paper scrap. So mostly using this kind of yellowish, greenish color. We've got some white in there. So some other colors. We got the gold already from We can probably go a little bit even, use some of this as this orangish color. That's nice. What else is nice for these stripes? That's pretty bright. Can we soften that? Or that's almost more neon. Adding paint probably won't help. Not so much. Can we add a little white to it? That does make it a little more pale. So that's not bad if we add a little bit of white. So what are you? Magenta? You're more reddish. No thanks. How about lavender? That's still rather pink. I'm looking for something that's kind of purplish. That's a little better. Stay close. Blue violet. That's also not too bad. Okay. That's a nice green too. So I'm trying to get in some colors that I haven't really used too much in the rest of them. Because why not? Because this is a good time to use it. So let's actually start off with this magenta. We're going to start it off right in her dress here, since that's the biggest area. And I'm not pressing too hard, but we're definitely putting a little more pressure than a normal first layer, because this is going to be the color. But of course, as we've talked about, you can't just do one solid color. You gotta mix it up. Sharpening, watch your ears. So I'm going to add a little bit of the white. Help to smooth things out a little bit. And soften the color just a little. It's not going to be quite pastel, but it's definitely a gentler version. That spot came out a little too light. There we go. Okay, and we're going to use, let's see. I'm going to try this. This is the indigo blue. It looks like a black colored pencil, but it's really just kind of a dark blue-violet color, which tends to work out pretty well when I'm trying to add a little bit of a shadow. And I don't want to do too much. I just want to give enough to help the edge there and right under here feel a little 3D, because the waistband goes over the top of the skirt. So there's got to be a little bit of a shadow hiding there. That'll work. All right. Let's go to orange next. Well, it's kind of golden color, really. Not exactly like an orange. Yellow orange. Although I believe it's called, it's called Spanish orange. don't know why making it more yellow makes it more Spanish though. Okay, so we have that, and then to go a little bit darker, I don't want to use that blue. Let's use, let's do a little bit of this scarlet red. A little bit there, a little bit there. Blend that in. Blend it in down here. And then I'm going to use some of this lighter yellow because it's already kind of pale. It will help to smooth and soften this color out a little bit. Good. Let's bring in this purpley color. Now I'm kind of sticking with colors that have a little bit of, they're almost like all tertiary colors. Now if you're not up on your color wheel, you got your primary colors, your main ones, red, blue, and yellow. You got your secondary ones, which is what you get when you mix your primary colors. So when you mix red and blue, you get violet. When you mix blue and yellow, you get green. And when you mix red and yellow, you get orange. But then there is a third level. And that third level are called the tertiary colors or the intermediate colors. I think mostly you hear the word, I think most artists use tertiary, but when teaching they tend to use intermediate because I think it sounds, I don't know, I guess they think it sounds a little more, it's more English. I always learned it as tertiary, so that's what I tend to use. But the tertiary colors are what you get when you mix a primary and a secondary. So that would be something like this Spanish orange color. Because it's orange, but it's like a brighter orange. It's if you got orange and yellow mixed together. Same with this kind of magenta color that we used. It would technically be considered more like a red violet because it's a reddish color, but it's got a little bit of violet mixed in it. So that it's not quite a pure red. This color I'm using for the shadows is blue violet. Sharpening, watch out. Some blue violet is also a tertiary color. This green is like a tertiary color. Because it's yellow and green. Let's go with the bright green. This is probably pretty similar to the green already, but I kind of like it anyway. And we'll use a little bit of this blue violet again for the shadow, just barely. Now I probably could have used black as the shadow for all of these, and that would have worked out just fine. But I kind of like the having that little bit of a blue tone in it. It feels a little more realistic. Since it's such a bright yellow green, we're going to use the pale yellow again as our added color. Okay. That's pretty fun. She's not going to come out looking at all like her planet, though. That's okay. So now, we've got to go back, get these colors again, because they're going to repeat on the inside here, since they swirl around. But since these are behind her and would be in shadow, I'm not going to color them too dark. And we're going to go over the whole thing with this indigo color. And especially right under the leg here and right in the innermost corner are the areas where it's going to be kind of the darkest. So I'm going to go a little bit darker on those. Then we're going to come back with this. And we're not going to add any white to this one this time. Okay, now we're back to the yellow orange, the Spanish orange. Let me to start. Now I'm actually going to get a different color. I'm not going to use that scarlet. I'm going to use, this is a Tuscan red, which is a dark red. It's red with a little bit of black in it. Just a little bit. So it kind of has a bit of a brownish tone. Which helps to soften the color the same way the black and the dark blue, the indigo blue, works out. That's nice. Okay, and now we're back to purple. And let's even just go ahead with the green as well, since the green and the purple are both going to use the darker blue, the indigo blue. Now yesterday, I know we didn't have the stream because I was over at the school, waving to some of our 8th graders as they came to pick up, you know, some of their graduation supplies. Say goodbye. It was really cute. Some of them like decorated their cars for the trip, which was pretty cool. Drove by honking and waving. It was nice. Got a little bit of sun, not too much. I was very smart. I had on my sunblock and my huge hat, which I know if some of you saw, you would have some words with me for being way too old lady looking, because it's like a gardening hat. But it is a great hat for when you're trying to keep the sun off of your face and neck. And it worked. I did not get any sunburn. It was tiring because it was hot. Like, you guys know when it's hot and you're just standing in the sun and you don't have to be doing anything, but just the sun itself can kind of exhaust you a little bit. I was like that. I came home, I couldn't get a whole lot of work done. I just kind of conked out for a bit. I know a lot of you have been returning in work and turning in some stuff late, so I'm going to get to as much as I can today for that. And then especially next Monday, Tuesday, will be a lot of going back and getting any old stuff you guys have turned in. I won't be able to do too much this weekend. I've got family coming in tomorrow. Oh, excuse me. Coming in tomorrow. Help to do some yard work while the weather has cooled off. And then Sunday is homework day for me. There. Looking fabulous. All right. So now we're going to start bringing these colors up into the rest of her outfit. So let's even just go right up to by her crown. I'm going to put you on a little bit of a tilt there too, make it a little easier. And then you get a nice view of my beautiful colored pencils. Making sure it's focusing all right. So, same routine. You're gonna scoot out of the way. You are not involved in this. Scoot, scoot. Try to keep them on. Try to keep them on their little spot, because when they leave them sitting on here, they tend to get little dusties all over the place. So just a tiny hint of the blue on one side, a little bit more on the other side for where the shadow is. Go back to the mulberry color. Its official name is mulberry. And then I'm going to soften it a little bit with some white. Then we're going back to, touch that off a bit. This Spanish gold color. Sharpening, watch your ears. A little bit of that Tuscan red in here, especially on the corner. That little bit of red too is going to help it blend better and look different from the rest of the golden areas. And then we've got purple color. I heard today in the news that they're going to be opening up campgrounds in Michigan by next week. Next week or the week after? Week after. Which I'm still conscious of the fact that we are still in the middle of a pandemic. Numbers are on the rise again because people are now going out more as the states have opened up. More people are getting sick again. So it is still important to be careful. It is still important to wear a mask and stay distant from people. But my family goes camping every year. It's like a tradition. And I would definitely miss it if we weren't able to go. My family and I talked about it a little bit not too long ago, and we agreed that even if we're not able to actually go to our usual campground, we would still come hang out at my folks' place. They've got a lot of land at their house. They're up north a ways. And we would come set up our tents on their yard, and we were going to camp out anyway. They not too long ago built a big fire pit too, so we can still have a fire and roast marshmallows and all those good things. All right. Now, I could add in another color, but I think what I'll just do is just keep repeating these 4. Her crown came out a little lopsided, but that's okay. A little hint of that blue. Color it in. Back to the white. And right there, tiny little bit of orange. Really tiny bit of red. Back to tiny orange. Okay, sharpening, watch your ears. Now, we know that what our pattern is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then let's put right on the edges, here and here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll just go through and get a bunch of the magenta areas. So I'm just sneaking down at the bottom here for these few little spots down by her feet. Okay. So this one's going to be dark because it's right under her chin. Little darkness at the edges where it tucks underneath her shoulder plates. On the side and underneath. Anywhere where you've got something that's tucking underneath or going around a curve, you want to add a little darkness too. So if it's around a waist like this, especially on the edges. On the arm, just putting a tiny bit on the top to help with the curve, and then a little more on the bottom. Same with the leg. Little hint of it on top, more on the bottom. And then the last little pieces down near the bottom that you can't see. It's okay, there's not much to look at. Boom. Ooh. You know, in my head, when I had envisioned working on Saturn especially, I mean, right from the beginning, I knew I wanted to give her a lot of loops and rings and stuff because, you know, Saturn is best known for its rings. Even the planets that have rings don't get as recognized as Saturn does. Saturn is the one with the rings. But she's definitely not coming out the way that I had originally thought she would. I'm not disappointed at all. I'm actually really into it. It's a nice, I feel like it's a nice design. These are interesting colors that we're working with. So it's kind of funny how you might envision something a certain way, but then as you work, things kind of change a little bit. You get some unexpected results. And in some cases, like this, I think it works out pretty well. Let's move on to our orange color. We're going to need to sharpen this. Watch your ears. Boom. Sip of water. No tea today. If it's going to be 90 degrees, even though the basement is nice right now, it's pretty cool. I still have to wear slippers when I'm down here because, you know, this cement floor is chilly. I don't mind, I love my slippers. But if it's going to be 90, I don't want to be sipping on hot tea all day. I think what else I'm liking about this too is she has some things that are very symmetrical and some things that are not, and it works together in a really cool way. Like she might have jewelry on both arms, but it's very different jewelry. And even though her shoulders and shirt are all symmetrical, her hat is pretty symmetrical except for the one side being a little bit longer, which kind of mirrors on her skirt then. So now we need our red to creep in, a little bit of a shadow. Oh, and very exciting. Yesterday I pretty much finished up my latest carving. I don't have it down here, so I can't show it to you guys. And it still has, I had to use some, I almost had to create like a frame for it in a way. And there's parts of it that are still, the glue is still drying. But I had to make a frame because it's like really super popping out. Which I've done once before. Once before I made a cool kind of 3D piece. And I probably should have looked at it before I finished doing the one I've got, because probably would have had some better ideas for doing the frame if I had looked at it again. But it's fine. And I'm excited about it. It looks pretty cool. Even my sister, who is my most severe art critic, said she liked it. That's huge. It's really great when you finally do something that people find really interesting to look at. I'll have to take some pictures and post them up. You guys aren't following me on Facebook. You probably should. I post up more stuff there. I know Facebook's like old now, but I don't know. I couldn't get into Instagram because I'm not constantly on my phone. And I know you guys all like Snapchat and TikTok, but those are really for making videos and stuff, and that's not all me. I'm not, I mean, other than, of course, I'm doing the streaming, which, you know, is great. I think that's very different than the others. And those are so short. This is much nicer. I probably could have included one more warm color into this. Or not warm color, cool color. Because between the magenta, mulberry, and the Spanish orange, and this poor little lilac color that it's too short so you can't see the name of it anymore. They're all pretty warm. I mean, purple is sometimes falls into the cool color area, but if it's something where it's more like a red-violet, that definitely starts to fall more into the warm colors. So right now it feels like having 3 warm colors. And then the one poor cool color. Now this one I did use white on too, so I'll have to remember to add that in. Oh, I didn't do the pale yellow. I'll do that too. Thanks for reminding me. I know somebody out there was like, hey, you forgot a step in your process. Thank you. So we'll backtrack real quick. Doesn't do a whole lot. It lightens it up just a touch. A little bit of a lightening, a little bit of a blend. Subtle touches. You're not really going to need any weight on you. You get a little bit. And finally, watch your ears. I probably could just use a little hand sharpener, but it would just take so much longer. You guys are just sitting here watching me sharpen a pencil. I mean, that's silly. So I apologize for the loudness of the sharpener. But I think it is a necessary evil. Oh, I missed it there. What's wrong with me? A little bit of that. A little bit of this. A little more of this. And another little bit of this. Beautiful. Okay, back to green. Since we're doing so many different colors though, it looks like this is probably gonna end up wrapping up our day rather than starting a whole new one. That can be Monday. Technically, just 2 more planets left to go, Uranus and Neptune. And then maybe we'll talk about dwarf planets and moons. I'm thinking it would be fun to do Pluto and its moon Charon. Not Karen, like, oh my gosh, Karen, call the manager. Charon, Charon. But doing them as like a sibling pair. I can hear Wiley woofing at somebody. It's probably a neighbor. It's always a neighbor. Well, I shouldn't say always. Sometimes it's Amazon or FedEx, depending on what we order. All right, you guys. Check that out. She's beautiful. So we'll just sneak in real quick and go over a couple of these little lines here. Little fringes that got a bit covered up. Pretty much any line that got a little bit covered up. Especially these fringe that I have to go over with the color pencil anyway. It's tough because the first time I do them, it's very kind of free form. So going over them again, it's like intense focus to make sure to go right over the exact same line I drew before. Not too bad. Just a couple little spots needing a little help. But for the most part, came out pretty nice. Alright, you guys, there she is. Let's get a high view. Whoop, arm, I'm telling you. Try to tighten it up a bit. No, it just does not want to stay too high. That's alright. There we go. There she is. Awesome. Alright, so gonna go and check your work, guys, and I will talk to you again on Monday. Make sure if you have any questions, send me emails. I might not be able to get to them right away over the weekend, depending on how long my homework and stuff takes. But by next week, especially, I will be checking pretty often and making sure that everything goes well and you guys get everything in you need to get turned in and all that good news. All right? So for the weekend, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of each other, support your friends, support your neighbors in whatever it is that they are going through. And I will talk to you guys soon. All right? Bye-bye.